Benjamin Bedouin, far less excited about this life than you'll ever talk to anybody. There is no excitement about anything in this life, past, present, or future, on this side of the return of Yahushua Messiah. I am about as bad as it gets right now. I'm about as pitiful as it gets. My whole body hurts. And I still got the thing with this leg. Shall I show it to you just to make sure you know I'm not scamming anybody? I don't know if I am even able to show you the leg here, but this is toxic, and I could die from this. I'm telling you. I'm not gonna go to a. Sorry, doctor. This is a symmetrical wound, as you can see, as I've shown you before. Same kind of wound that's here. Is also up here. The symmetry of it reveals a bamboo trap when I was a child in Vietnam. Never supposed to talk about this. I'm just supposed to take it in the rear end and then even go and join them and do it unto others. I will never do that. That's why I'm going to cut the government a deal, because I'm not going to work for the government. They wanted to use my education, kind of like they wanted to use Paul the same way. Paul was already having believers executed, before, Stephen got stoned. And then after that, he got thrown on his back and saw the light in Damascus. Well, they wanted to use my and Paul studied under Gamaliel. They wanted to use my education. I'm going to tell you straight up. I was either going to join military intelligence, CIA, or it was going to be nothing. I was either going to devise evil plans for them, or it was going to be nothing. They, like I said, because of my dishonorable discharge in 1989, the age of 25 or so, just short of being 25, I didn't go. I just didn't feel right about going. It's as simple as that. I was already being saved and born again, and I didn't feel good about going. Although through the first two Gulf Wars in Afghanistan and all that, I was all gung ho and said, "Yeah, go get those terrorists. Oh yeah, go get them. That's a sin I confess to you. I have repented of. There ain't nothing about go get them terrorists. That's another form of racial profiling that has not only affected others around the world, but is affecting you in America. Your military is at war with you. They are being trained to hate you and to show contempt for you and to see you as the number one enemy. That's evident with the ICE raids. That's evident with how the National Guard and even many of the military are operating around the country domestically. I thought the National Guard was used for disaster relief. I thought that they're supposed to help people, not to shoot them up. This is the most extreme circumstances in this nation's entire history under which the National Guard and military troops would be used on the streets and in the cities of America. Now, after Hurricane Katrina, George W. Bush, what a sorry loser. That man hates my guts too. He's a sorry loser. Um, George W. Bush, after Hurricane Katrina, certainly did implement National Guard, and he declared martial law on the streets of New Orleans, and people were shot and killed. So, having said all that, I do not support this government. I haven't supported any government or any regime in America or in any other nation since I learned about the true corruption of this nation since 2012. And even dating back to 2008, even back into my college days, I was already refusing to sing the national anthem, to stand for the flag, and put my hand on my heart. I was already in the 90s becoming an unpatriot. I am an unpatriot. That's right. I am an unpatriot who has been in the United States since 1966, the year I got shot as a child at the UT Tower. Yeah, a lot of bad things happened to me as a child because Herbert Walker Bush told my dad, Raymond Lawrence Dunyaman, hand him over to me or I'm going to take him. Those are the words I remember as a child hearing from that evil man to my father. My father stood up to Herbert Walker, the pervert, Bush. You know, Barbara Bush wasn't even a lady. That was Aleister Crowley. Herbert Walker Bush was a mere homosexual sodomite pervert. You thought he was married to a woman named Barbara Bush? That was Aleister Crowley. That was a gay sodomite pervert. And all these presidential wives, there's got to be something wrong with them. I mean, all of them. But see, I'm not going to serve the government. And blessings to you, Pammy. Good to see you tonight, Pammy. I got a deal to cut the government because I'm not going to serve your objectives. They was going to use my PhD. You go to the CIA, military intelligence, or you're not going to do nothing. I was in accounting for 14 years, and that ended in 2016, late in the year, so really early 2017. I had to retire. I was already getting old, and I wasn't going to. In the accounting profession, once you're washed up, you're done, son. Age discrimination is rife in accounting and many of the other business administration positions. So I wasn't even ever going to be able to teach accounting ever again, much less practice it again. And so I'm not going to serve your objectives. I don't believe in your government. I haven't believed in your government for two or three decades now. I don't toe the line that churches tell you to toe. I don't sit there and honor an army soldier above a poor person or above anybody else. I don't do it. That's the partiality that Christ spoke of and that the book of James talks about. Not to show partiality to the rich or to anybody. That is evil. That's what he said. Yeah, you're going to tell me to honor a Republican sodomite Southern Baptist pervert named Speaker Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson, a Southern Baptist, is supporting Donald J. Trump and without question, everything he does, even if it contradicts his faith. Because I can tell you what, it really doesn't contradict Southern Baptist faith. Everything Donald J. Trump is doing, Southern Baptist leader or pastor will do the exact same thing he's doing while pretending to want to encourage Trump to do better. They're all Freemasons. They hate your guts. So this is how I want to go. If I can't leave this country soon, I got a bad back. I still have a bad hip. I'm still disabled. I'm still targeted. I, I'm I'm a dishonorable discharge, so I'm never going to get ID. I'm not going to get my paperwork. Starting in 2020, when they knew I wasn't going to do their evil objectives and I wasn't going to take their you know what in the arm, I wasn't going to take the snake bite in the arm. They, starting in 2020, they used my military discharge to make sure I'd never get my paperwork. In the state of Texas, 5 times in 8 months in 2020, I paid $12 to get my driver's license. 5 times. And guess how many times the state of Texas gave me my ID, my license? 0. State of Texas will not relinquish any paperwork regarding to my birth or anything. I got to remind you that I went into the Department of Health and Human Services on 49th and a half Street, Austin, Texas. And see, here comes the fire truck again once I start to run a video. You'll hear that every single day. But anyway, I said I want my real birth certificate. And the guy at the desk of this will floor you. Because I am a well-known item in the state of Texas, and more particularly in Austin, only because of the UT Tower shooting and my father's role in it. My dad actually saved my life, and he actually did get Whitman, but Whitman was not at the top. Whitman was in one of the balconies of one of the other educational buildings. Herbert Walker Bush was the man at the top of the UT Tower. I'm the only one saying it. I'm the only one who really knows it and is really saying it. He was in the CIA. He was the director of the CIA at that time. So why wouldn't he be on top of the tower? He was running a lot of mind control operations even back then. And in fact, he's the one who implemented many of the MK Ultra mind control programs from the 50s and the 60s and even in the 70s, all the way up until he became the Viper, the vice president to Ronald Reagan. That president you thought was great, but he gave the pharmaceutical companies immunity under that act he signed. The pharmaceutical companies for vaccines cannot be held liable. Well, that's why this government has always been fraudulent. Your dollar is fraudulent. It's fiat money. And Trump is building up the stockpiles of his billionaire friends, using his millionaire slaves to squash everybody else. And then before long, he'll squash everybody he used to squash everybody below them. That's what you call the pyramid scheme. That money is witchcraft. That money is satanic spell after spell after spell. You look at the back of your dollar bill and you see nothing but symbols of the occult. The spirit of Python is the triangle, is the pyramid on that dollar bill. You, of course, have Moloch, the owl, for child sacrifice. And you have a lot of other, those Latin phrases. That's why, in 2013, when I started finding out the real truth about this country, I basically already started flipping it off. But you know what? I was also ranting and raving every day about being lied to. Being lied to by church friends who said the Republican Party was a party of morals and family and God. Come to find out that a lot of my friends who said that were committing adultery. They were acting like perverts, and they were doing closet gay rituals at the Freemason lodges, which they do. So I have tossed all my church friends from the past I made sure each one of them knew, as long as you're going to go down the path you're going, I never want to speak to you again. You lied to me. I had nothing but people gathered around me, got into my life, only to find out that Brian Franklin Russell is actually an FBI agent who somehow God blessed to be able to move near my house after he got out of college. He already had a house. Oh, that ought to tell you something, huh? And then others were there just to, another guy, pretending to be a friend. He was just there to collect data. There was only one guy I thought I really trusted, but he was there to get information, but I don't think he meant any harm like the others. So it's like, no, I had all the people I thought I could trust. I can't trust any of them. You shouldn't trust in man. You should trust in Yahuwah. Nonetheless, even the friends I gained in 2018, they're all gone now. I threw them out. I found them to be phonies. I only have Dawid back here. He's all I have back here. I have some locals here, but he's the main only one I really have. But we have a couple really great people around here that we met that we've known on YouTube for a long time. Sister Monica and another man. He would not like me to disclose his name, even by first name. And I've had others on YouTube and spoken to them on the phone, but you really don't never have a friend unless you've really met them, or you at least talk to them on the phone enough, and get a feeling about whether or not you can trust them or not. So I got a deal for the government. I'm gonna say it now. If I can't leave the United States, I want to be the first homeless, worthless person in this country to be publicly executed by the guillotine or by firing squad. I do not want a lethal injection. I do not want the electric chair. Those are the cruelest ways anybody can die. I do not want drugs in my body. I want to die, or you can hang me. But I don't want to die by lethal injection or any other form of drugs or by the electric chair. I don't want any of that. I want you to do it right. I want you to do it clean. I want you to do it good. And I get to testify of the Messiah and what he's done in my life, and why he's shown me that world government and even any form of politics is not of the kingdom of Christ. And so in exchange, you want to knock me off. I won't do your Freemason homosexuality. I won't be involved in your trafficking. I won't do military intelligence. I won't work for the cause of the government. I won't use my financial genius to help out any business or anything like that anymore. So that's how you could take me out. I mean, really, I am subject to continual recidivism. That means I never gonna change my ways. So like, man, I mean, you guys in the Southern Baptist Convention, I'm not gonna do your crap. Government, CIA, FBI knows I'm not gonna toe the line. You cannot get me into a political party. I'm not gonna be the next Charlie Kirk, Quirk, Turk, Jerk. And so, about as targeted as you can get. It's hard to get money. And when I've used online methods, I know my money's being misdirected and redirected to Dr. Juan R. Sanchez's bank account as punishment for all the trouble I caused him for leaving his church membership because I wouldn't allow his gay lover to sodomize me. I should have just allowed Chris, aka Samuel, from 30 years ago, 24 years ago at that time. If I'd have just let him sodomize me and submit, I wouldn't have caused him all that trouble, right? I should have submitted to my pastor, right? I knew what was going on. I knew all the schemes, and I escaped them all. They were going to drag me into the back of the woods of High Point Baptist Church, 12030 Dessau Road, Austin, Texas, 78754. They were trying to drag me back into the woods and get me to do a Freemason satanic sacrifice to Moloch. Wasn't going to do it. I went back there and saw the shanties of that church. They automatically trespassed me. But I've got the video of that when I was preaching on BitChute and Rumble and the old YouTube channel under my dead little brother's name, whose I thought was my name. Sucky life to live, huh? It sucks. But, you know, I caused that pastor all that trouble just because I didn't submit to him and just do it. It's just a sin. Just do it. Not in your life. I'd rather suffer like this. And you know what? I tell the government every single day, if you want to kill me, pull your gun out. I will sit right here and let you do it. I have no weapons. I'm not trying to do suicide by cop. But if you want to execute justice like ICE is doing, go right ahead and kill me. Execute me publicly on TV. Let the whole world see it. You might not be in the position I'm in, and you might think I'm even crazy, but I take no medications. I take no drugs. I take not even a Bayer aspirin or any kind of aspirin or any such thing. So I take nothing. I allow myself to hurt my back, my hips. You saw my leg. I'm not going to show it again tonight. Those are permanent scars. This leg pain has gone on as long as I've been trying to do these Substack posts. That leg's not going to never heal. I'm disabled. I won't toe the United States patriotic line. I'm not a patriot. I have no way for anybody to send me no money. I have to walk by faith. It's good to know that Abba Father will provide for you through the gospel, but it's also sucks to have to suffer what I suffer. It's okay for me, it's okay to want to lose this tabernacle of my body and go to be with Yahushua Messiah. That's right. That's the deal I'm cutting the government. First, I prefer the guillotine. Second, I prefer the firing squad. Third, I prefer you to hang me. Hang me high at noon. And I want Governor Abbott to do it. I want him to be the one to execute me. Those three ways and no other way. Since I'm so targeted, my life don't matter anymore to y'all, and it doesn't. I get out of your way. I'll go to the kingdom of Yahusha. Y'all can stay here. I'm fine with that. So you have a blessed Shabbat Shalom if you're doing it by the calendar. We're just getting out of the Sabbath for the lunar Sabbath. So I'll be signing out.